Now it looks like we are on to 6B1, the clerk and comptroller, and our clerk, Joe Abruzzo, you are recognized, sir.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, Board of the County Commission. It is my pleasure to stand before you once again to report our annual financial outlook for Palm Beach County.
Thank you.
Look at this.
That was very, very nice.
Right, it's about money, precisely. But before I begin, I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up the point that less than 24 hours ago, by the good grace of Judge Delgado, I was able to release the Jeffrey Epstein grand jury records after 3 years of working so hard from our office. Incredible joint bipartisan effort between Representative Peggy Gossett-Seidman and Senator Tina Polsky, working with us in Tallahassee. We wrote the language in our office and advocated for it for many, many years, and we were able to release it by incredible work in a very hard case. It's the first time ever in our state's history that a grand jury record was released to the public in this manner. So,
congratulations, Senator Abruzzo. How can the public access that, sir?
It's right on our website. But since we are in a public hearing and it is also listed on our website, I have to say it is extremely graphic, and there is a warning on there for those who may read it. So,
thank you for your work on that, especially since so much of it originated in this county. It is so important that it was taken care of by this county and by our good clerk. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So as we begin onto our finances, I'm going to briefly speak about checks and balances, which is our award-winning guide for the past 17 years. And that is the guide to our county finances that is delivered directly to the public in real explicit details of how our tax dollars are spent. Our goal with the guide is to help connect our taxpayers to this pertinent information without any hindrance. Okay. So this is our net position statement. The county's net position has increased this year by $364 million over last year. Higher overall revenues from property taxes and, of course, investment income were the primary drivers in this case. The countywide operating millage rate for fiscal year 2023 was 4.7150 mils, a reduction from the previous rate of 4.7815, which, you know this well, you rolled back property taxes for the first time since 2012 to give our taxpayers and our homeowners a break. Kathy? This slide shows median sales prices for calendar year from 2019 to 2023. In the past 5 years, Palm Beach County has been an outlier in Florida and the nation for growing in median home prices. Last year, Palm Beach County increased its median sales price by 6.4%. The 11th consecutive year our county saw an increase in the median sales prices for a single-family home. The median home price is right now is $580,000, nearly a 60% increase from 2019. That is incredible numbers, as mentioned, not just here in the state of Florida, but throughout our entire nation. Mortgage and deeds. Unlike the median home price in Palm Beach County, the number of mortgages and deeds recorded with our office are declining. The number of mortgages shown in teal are nearing the low levels we saw in 2010 and 2011, when Palm Beach County saw thousands of homes go into foreclosure. But I would like to say that I also believe that we are seeing a massive uptick in people paying cash for homes. So that is also an indicator of why there aren't mortgages being recorded. The number of deeds shown in light green are the lowest since 2012. The decrease in mortgage and deeds means less money for Palm Beach County and the clerk's office, since we both receive a portion of money from recording fees and documents. Foreclosures. The number of foreclosure cases trended up in 2023 to 2,473 cases last year. To put that into context, There were nearly 2,200 foreclosure cases filed in 1 month in 2029, the highest level we have ever seen during our crisis. In 2009, Palm Beach County had a record 31,678 foreclosure cases. So again, we're at nearly 2,500, drastic night and day from our lowest point. This chart shows our tourist development tax. Palm Beach County collected a record $84.2 million in tourist development tax in fiscal year 2023. It is the third year that the county has seen an increase in tourist development tax collections following the pandemic decrease from 2020. The amount of tourist development tax collected in 2022 and 2023 set new records throughout Palm Beach County. Our local option gas tax. Gas tax collections rebounded from the pandemic. In fiscal year 2023, the $53.3 million in local gas tax is nearly equal to the $53.4 million collected in 2019. So we're right back on track where we were. One of my favorite slides, the investment income. Investment income hit a record, as you all know, in 2023. This chart provides a 10-year look at investment increases earned by our office, managed by the Palm Beach County investment portfolio. I am proud to report we are on track to set a new record in 2024, with our investment income projected to be at least 25% higher, so at least $215 million for this fiscal year, which ends September 30th. I will tell you as I stand here in front of you today, we have made more money than the $172 million. We broke it, about a couple of weeks ago? A couple of weeks ago, we passed the $172 million mark. So we are going to do far outpace over $200 million. I'll be reporting to you an official figure in the beginning of October. It is our goal, and we meet on it often. If I'm fortunate enough to come back here, in the 8 years that we serve, I would like to stand up in front of you and tell you we have made over $1 billion in an 8-year period for the county and for the taxpayers of Palm Beach County, which has never been done in a county. Our portfolio allocation, just for a snapshot, this was 2023. As you see, we had 77% in money markets. And by the way, when you see a lot of reports about Israel bonds, which I'll speak about in a moment, and experts saying, should you put 15% in one type of investment? I would like to remind the public, we are capped, thank God, at what we can invest. Everything is in safe investments. So we do not have all these different tools. So if you hear somebody criticizing 15%, well, we had 77% in one type of vehicle in money markets. If we could go to the current allocation as of today. So as you see the shift, we pulled from money markets to go into Israel bonds. And this is our current portfolio. We have nearly $4.6 billion invested right now. Kathy, if you can move to the next. And one other note on Israel bonds. That 15% of our portfolio pays us around $35 million a year in investment income. When I took office, 100% of our portfolio was paying $27 million. So Israel bonds is outpacing what we came into as many of us took office in 2021. This is our debt service. The slide shows Palm Beach County debt as well as the debt service payment if no new debt is added. I will pause there and say this is actually a remarkable slide in this regard. It is hard-pressed to find any large county, any large municipality that actually has any pathway to zero debt. You do not see that. So the stewards that have come before us and before you all in the county commission and after, it is truly noteworthy to point out that there is actually a path to zero debt if chosen by the county, by you all. In fiscal year 2023, the county issued 3 new non-ad valorem revenue bonds of approximately $170 million to pay for revenues for Roger Dean Stadium and other county facilities. Just wanted to point that out. So I wanted to give you a brief overview of our clerk budget, since you fund partial of our budget. And I will tell you, we have one of the most unique offices in the state, because we pull the majority of our funding from Tallahassee, and then of course you're funding the finance side, the comptroller side. Our office has over 1,000 different statutory duties. I act in the official capacity, or the office does, as of course the clerk to the court, the clerk to the board of the county commissioners, the CFO of the county, the treasurer of the county, the recorder of the county, and we run the passport office. I would submit that, especially for those up north, there's usually one person for each of those roles, but here in the state of Florida and the way we have the government, we encompass all of it. Some highlights of our office, if we could go. We had nearly 400,000 customers come in and walked in our office last year. We fielded nearly 300 or over 350,000 calls. We clerked over 315,000 court hearings, and we processed more than 4.6 million documents. And what's not on that slide, we had over 100,000 jurors that physically come in person that we take care of through the jury process as well. This is an overview of services that highlight how obviously it affects you, the Board of the County Commission. We processed over $1.3 billion in county invoices. We obviously earned those record numbers in the county portfolio. We processed 5,670 value adjustment board petitions, and we clerked 110 county meetings. On the court funding side, I will tell you that we are operating at these around the same level as 2007. So we have been operating all these years equal to or below all the way to 2007. However, with the increases of population, we are working harder and processing more people than ever before, including when new judges are added. We need clerks to clerk those courtrooms, and we've been the clerks in general. We're all in one big pot together. We have been grossly underfunded, and I know you hear that all the time from many different agencies, but it's just a statistical fact. We are doing more with less, and I cannot thank our incredible staff, many who are here today, especially on the finance side. We work so hard as a team to do everything we can with what little we have. Could go to the next. Could go next. This is just a snapshot of our clerk revenue and where we receive the funding from. And our expenditures. So we operate on a $74 million budget, which is primarily salary driven, of the approximately 650 men and women that work as deputy clerks or support staff. I wanted to briefly give an overview, as I always do, how I see the national outlook specifically on our debt. This is something that I watch very carefully, because when we manage a portfolio of billions of dollars, what is happening worldwide and nationwide truly affects us and the rates we earn and how we handle our money. We are currently sitting on a federal debt of nearly $35 trillion. It's $34.870 trillion, the largest debt in the history of the world and any era of this earth. That's approximately $267,000 per taxpayer. The debt to GDP ratio is negative 122%, which is going to be approaching eventually the level of, let's say, Greece, which is big issues. Although I would like to leave on a positive note, I do want to bring this up. We have a federal budget of nearly $7 trillion, which is a $2 trillion deficit. So we have approaching a $35 trillion credit card bill, and we're losing $2 trillion a year every year. In the federal budget, the largest part of the budget is Medicare and Medicaid, which is about $1.7 trillion. The next largest budget before defense, which is what we're heading into, is just the interest on the debt, which will be over $1 trillion this fiscal year. Something to note, there was a 50-year agreement between Saudi Arabia and the United States where all oil revenue by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia was traded and sold in US dollars, and a large portion of that money was reinvested into US treasuries. It was a 50-year deal that expired just last month. That could have severe consequences on inflation and other things if we're not able to continue some sort of trend with that. It's not widely reported, but that was one of the key cornerstone of keeping low inflation for the past 50 years, and it lapsed and expired. So I see, unfortunately, nationwide, big problems ahead when it comes to our debt and inflation. We'll see peaks and valleys like the stock market, but ultimately we're going to be in a fiscal jam. I would say around 2035, if I had to take an educated guess, the debt service is going to be so detrimental to our federal budget that it's going to affect us all. There really, in my strong opinion, there's not a clear way out of it. We could only print more money, which means inflation goes higher. We just do not have the revenue, and that's the position we're in. On the good note, we're making great money in Palm Beach County, and you have a way out of, not that you by any means, the debt that Palm Beach County has is really remarkable for what you have all done for a large county in the United States, and I applaud you, and it's a pleasure to work as your CFO and treasurer here in Palm Beach County. I'm open to any questions you may have.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Senator. Commissioner Baxter? By the way, that was a very thorough and comprehensive report that you gave us. Thank you. Commissioner Baxter.
Hi, thank you, Mayor. I didn't necessarily want to ask questions, but just thank you. I mean, that's amazing to have that much increase in revenue in such a short period of time, and we're projected to have over 200 million. I know that last year when we were discussing millage rates, your ability to bring in an extra 160 million into this county was a huge factor in making us feel more comfortable with doing that. So thank you so much. And now over 215 million, that's outstanding. So thank you. I hope you're around for a very long time.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. Commissioner Woodward, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. And thank you, sir, for sobering us up some this morning with your outlook. I wanted to go back in your slide. One question I had about the foreclosures that you were showing. You were showing 3,400 in 2019, and then the dip that happened in 2020, 1 and 2, and we're climbing back up. In your opinion, do you expect some of this is due to maybe some COVID monies that came in to keep people in their homes? Are you expecting the foreclosures to climb back up to previous numbers? What's your outlook?
I believe that the interest rates are absolutely playing a role into this. We are in the midst of a changing economy, so that is going to happen. If I want to get in the micro weeds of things, as AI starts to merge in the workforce, we're going to see, I would say this could go up. This potentially could easily go up. So it's really a changing marketplace on interest rates, and the overall workforce is changing before our very eyes. Also, people, depending on their mortgages, what they got locked into, if it was a moving rate, that would, I would say, would attribute to a big portion of that as well. They were paying 2-3%, and then all of a sudden they're paying 7-8%.
So you do expect that number to continue to climb?
I do.
And if I could, one follow-up. You mentioned...
Commissioner, if I may?
Sure.
Since we are arguably the hottest property market in the country, right now, that could change. I would submit that there will always be investors who come in and grab properties So I don't see those homes sitting vacant for very long.
Okay. That makes me a little nervous because 2008 was a lot of investors that with no people in them. So when the foreclosures happened, you know, we had a lot of properties that were already sitting empty and kind of throws off what we do. It's a separate. Thank you for that. I did want to ask you, because you brought up the petrodollar and how we're potentially losing that status. Do you, in your opinion, is there any movement in what's happening with crypto as far as how we can do investments with that? If the petrodollar goes away, is there, I know you have to be very careful with how you invest with us, but with cryptos?
Commissioner, I appreciate the question. I personally would never come in front of the board and ever recommend investing in cryptocurrency. It is extremely risky. It is not backed. It would be, that could, without getting into a long diatribe, it could really be detrimental to the county. It would potentially hurt our credit rating down the road. I would not put our money into anything that isn't safe and secure, and crypto is simply a gamble.
Thank you. I was hoping you would say that. Okay.
Miami-Dade, including allowing them to pay some of their workers in crypto, they put themselves in hundreds of millions of dollars in a hole. So we'll never do that here in Palm Beach County, at least as long as I'm around.
Want to stick around a little bit.
Yes, it's my plan.
Commissioner Weiss.
Thank you, Senator. Just following up on, and I had similar questions as Commissioner Woodward, following up on the foreclosures, do you have any sense of how much of the foreclosures are commercial versus residential?
We have those statistics, but do we have them? Well, I'll get those to you.
Yeah, it'd be great if you could share with the board. That would be, and I had the same thought about the variable interest loans contributing as these went up. I was wondering, though, we have received some criticism regarding our investments in Israel bonds. But I think it's important also to understand that the term of these bonds, for folks to understand, how long our investment in them. Can you comment on that?
I can. The majority is in a 2-year duration. We're well into that. We have some 3-year as well. So between 2 and 3 years, they will be up for renewal. We obviously will look at what the world looks like, what the interest rates look like. I will tell you that it's one of the safest and best returns that we can make right now, which is, I can't thank you enough for allowing that to occur, to raise the cap. But I will tell you, Commissioner, no one has received more criticism than me, and I'm happy to take that criticism and all day, every day. I'm proud of what they're returning. I'm proud that at the end of it, we should have about $83 million earned off of 15% of our portfolio, which is, quite frankly, really good. So happy to take the criticism. You can direct it at me, Commissioner.
And then last question for you. Has to do with our investment portfolio. Many of those funds have, well, all of them actually, have very specific purposes and where those funds and that interest can be used.
Yes.
And so I think it's important for the public to understand that this isn't money that just comes in, goes to the bottom line, and it just gets spent. It's very much controlled as to how and what exactly those funds can be used for. Can you go into a little detail on that?
Thank you, Commissioner. And I would be happy in the next meeting to come back with a similar chart to show that. The majority does come to you, the Board of the County Commissioners, but like the airport, et cetera, those funds are not in your specific pot, but the majority of it does come to you, but not all of it. And I would be happy to work with Administrator Baker and our team and put something together for you. So it's more clear when you look at this upcoming budget. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner. Vice Mayor Marino, you're recognized.
Actually, Commissioner Weiss started the question I was going to. When we talk about our millage rate, we look at ways to offset that. And with the 200 million in interest, it would be important to know the funds where they are allocated, because of that 200 million, only maybe 20 million might be the general fund, which is what ad valorem taxes fund for our expenses. So I guess the breakdown would be what's airports, what's water utilities, what's general fund, so we know what affects the budget that we are. I mean, we say grace over the entire budget, but for the folks at home that are watching and think I'm crazy, the ad valorem taxes only fund a small part, about 20% of our total budget. So can you interpret what I'm asking?
I can, Commissioner, and if I could pause just for 1 second, because I want to ask a pointed question without saying something that I
No
think
worries.
is accurate, but
No.
Commissioner, I will come back next meeting and we will start sorting out through these funds and what actually you have and the power within those funds of what you can do and how you can move money around.
That's great, because when we talk about reserves, and we have the big reserve pot, which is, how much money do we have in reserves? $2 billion? But
1.8? 1.8?
roughly.
Yeah, roughly.
Roughly. But that doesn't mean we have $2 billion in reserves that are for the general fund. It means we have $2 billion that's spread out over all of our funds, and I don't even know how many funds do we actually have. I know we have a 1,300 line item budget of expenses, so that means we have 1,300 funds, but you understand my question?
I do, Commissioner, and I concur that it would be extremely helpful for the board to see exactly where the money is, exactly where that extra income goes, and exactly what you have at your disposal as you make your decisions on millage. So we will, if the mayor, if you'll indulge me, we will come back and
No problem.
Sort all through that.
That'd be great, because that would help us with, millage rate going forward. We need to know what monies are in what bucket.
Yes.
Thank you.
And if there are no other questions,
One card.
we do have a card, but thank you so much, Senator Abruzzo.
Thank
You
you,
give us
sir.
a sense of calm, and the fact that we are doing so well financially is a real boost to all the residents of this county.
Thank you, Senator,
you.
Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Senator. We have a card.